It is time now for Three Things to Watch in D.C. with Kevin Cirilli, a summary of politics and power in the Beltway. Joining us for this is Kevin Cirilli, a senior visiting broadcast fellow at the Kroc Institute for Tech Diplomacy and Purdue. You're also a Yahoo Finance contributor now. Kevin, we're excited to have you on today.
I'm a little nervous. I got to be honest. This is my first time doing this in a while, so I'm thrilled to be here. But there's a lot happening in Washington.
Yeah, it's always hard to onboard remotely, right? That makes things a little awkward. But as you said, all eyes right now on that Senate confirmation vote for Supreme Court Justice nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson. I know the Senate is discussing right now. How is that likely to unfold?
The Senate Judiciary Committee right now is just going over their statements in terms of the procedural vote that'll happen in the Senate Judiciary Committee. It's likely going to be a split, 11 Democrats voting to advance her nomination to the floor and 11 Republicans on the committee opposing. That said, there was a big development just in the last few days from Senator Susan Collins, the Republican from Maine. If we can pull up what she had to say about why she is backing her nomination to the Supreme Court. She came out and said, quote, "In my view, the role of the Constitution clearly assigns to the Senate to examine the experience, qualifications, and integrity of the nominee. It is not to assess whether a nominee reflects the ideology of an individual senator or would rule exactly as an individual senator would want." Now, because Senator Collins is a Republican, that will make Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination process expected to happen on Friday morning or Friday evening. Really easy because it will be a party line vote. She only needs a majority vote to advance, and she's a shoo-in at this point to be on the Supreme Court.
Kevin Cirilli, it's Brian Chung here. Welcome aboard. I wanted to chat with you about the second thing that you're watching, which is the COVID relief bill. We've been talking about this for some time. What's the update on that?
Well, this is interesting because if you think back to President Biden's remarks last month, where he had called for upwards of 20 billion additional funds to be allocated for COVID relief, now Republicans in the Senate suggest that they've been able to could get on board with about $10 to $12 billion of COVID relief bill. I'm looking to see if there's going to be a deal this week in the Senate between Republicans and Democrats to advance. Now, if you go to the House, though, the Democratic-controlled House, Brian, they're still talking about spending much more money, and they've actually tacked on several additional billions of dollars worth for the restaurant industry. This, regardless of whether, no matter how much more money they spend, this regardless would equate to $5 trillion. Think about that. $5 trillion that the U.S. federal government has allocated for COVID relief since the pandemic began.
That is a large sum right there, Kevin. Finally, we all saw those images come out of Ukraine over the weekend in Bucha, which is, of course, a suburb of Kyiv. Quite graphic images that points to the toll of the war. But we heard from President Biden today talking about how President Putin should be placed on should be tried for war crimes. And yet you have to wonder, this is a long process that would have to play out. Are we likely to see additional sanctions in the meantime?
That's being discussed on Capitol Hill. Yesterday, I spoke with a source just about that point specifically. And right now, that is an open conversation. But you just alluded to something that is incredibly significant. Earlier this morning, President Biden speaking to reporters in which he said, quote, "You saw what happened in Bucha. He is a war criminal." Now, he did not use the word genocide, which President Zelensky used in an interview with CBS News on the Sunday shows, in which he said, indeed, this is genocide, the elimination of the whole nation and the people. We are the citizens of Ukraine, and we don't want to be subdued to the policy of the Russian Federation. So clearly, President Biden, hearing that message, hearing the words of President Zelensky over the weekend, European leaders have also come out and alleged a war crime actions. That could really further intensify the need for additional sanctions. And it's something, quite frankly, that Congress has said that they would like to potentially do more of, but they haven't actually legislated on it. They haven't even passed a resolution. So President Biden signaling this morning could actually be what is needed for Republicans and Democrats to put forward some type of condemnation resolution against President Putin in Russia that would, again, further show a unified United States and signaling where the country is and where elected officials are against the atrocities that have occurred in Ukraine.
Yahoo Finance contributor and apparently Philadelphia fan. Is that City Hall behind you?
And by the way, I got my Wawa coffee right here.
Oh.
I grew up out in Philly, Brian. So that's
Love it.
It's, out Delco is where I grew up.
All right.
Give it a shot.
Respect. I'll wait for the Eagles paraphernalia later on in the year. Kevin Cirilli, thanks so much.